All right, heading to Green Bay this week. It's nice outside here, and it's probably about the same temperature that's going to be there. So hopefully we'll get outside and get used to some of the weather, maybe a little bit of snow. So we've been getting that here as well. At my house we have been. So, but we didn't practice out there. But anyway, there's a bunch of snow up on the hill right there. Yeah, so it's still on the ground this morning when I left. But yeah, so going to Green Bay, a great opportunity. Play another great team. Defensive wise, just from some of the other early looks that we have. I mean, obviously have some great personnel with Clay Matthews and Peppers and some of those players that they have. They've been there for a long time and played at a high level. But Dom Capers' defense. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of different personnels that they use. They move guys around, the same players in different spots. So targeting, I think, will be important in our protections. Understanding how they're using their guys as well, and that'll be an important part for us this week.
Tyler against Tampa Bay was targeted downfield, and ultimately maybe one of his targets downfield. But it seemed like there was a real concerted effort to get the ball early and quick in the last week against Carolina. Is that a matchup thing, or is that just kind of how it went in the game plan?
Yeah, I think it's just how it was the game plan turned out. We made a few adjustments, obviously, from the Tampa week, and things that really worked to our advantage this last week. Whether it was getting the ball out a little bit quicker and some shorter throws, but we still had the opportunities to take some deep shots. And then we made some of those plays. We made some third down conversions, so we kept the ball a lot longer. We had way more first downs this game, so all of that started to help. And he ended up with a nice game, and really all those guys did. I mean, Jimmy had a bunch of catches, Jermaine, Doug, Tyler. So that was good to see.
What does that do for you guys? Doug touched on this after the game. When you're getting 4 or 5 guys kind of in distribution in the passing game.
I think it's John. I think it's hard, for teams to decide how they want to play us. I mean, we feel like we have a lot of weapons. I mean, really, all those receivers we just talked about with Jimmy and Luke's coming back, and then Thomas Rawls coming out of the backfield. So we think it's hard to defend. We're not like one of those teams that just has one go-to guy and they can really roll coverage and dictate and take away a guy. So if you want to take somebody away, we got 3 other guys that are ready to go, and it's nice to get them all involved the way that we were able to do last week, because it buoys all their spirits and their confidence, and it gets them rolling, and they want more, and they're really into it. So it was a fun game to get them all involved.
With your early play calling, how much are you trying to set stuff up for later, whether it was the lock and sweep or ball where you started blocking and then downfield, those types of things?
Always. I'm always trying to think ahead and always trying to set things up.
Do you script at the start of the second half like you do at the start of the game?
Not the exact same way, no, but have a list of some things that I want to do, and those can change. I've actually done it before where I had a first half and a second half, but sometimes you'll come back in and you've used half the second half one already, depending on how many plays you're able to get. And so we go in at halftime. I think that's one of the things that we do really well as a staff. Tom gets together with the run guys, I get together with the pass guys, and then Tom and I get together really quick before he goes and talks to some of the guys in the offensive line. And we get a really nice list and come out, and I think we've been pretty successful coming out of the halves, and with putting our heads together.
Is having early success, particularly with the run game, just kind of open up what you can do throughout the rest of the game?
Well, we always feel like when we get the run game going, I mean, we know, we always talk about it, that's who we are, that's what our philosophy is, but everything for us really comes off of it, and it makes us play a different way, or it helps us to play a different way. So when we do a hard play fake and put the ball in front of Thomas, then the defense has to react, and if he's running and getting 4 to 9 yards a clip, then they're going to react, and that helps us to get some of those other shots. It helps with the protections because they're playing the run, and then it's a pass, so they got to react to the pass after that rather than just pinning their ears back on drop back pass. So we feel it's a huge part of who we are, and getting the run game going is very important.
In the NFC title game against Green Bay, you guys pulled off a start line with the John Ryan pass to Jared Gilliam for the touchdown. In a play like that, how much time do you have to think about when to deploy something as kind of high risk but high reward like that? How does it work with this?
Well, that happened to be a special teams one, So I think that actual one was between Brian and the head coach. But we've done those same type of plays before, and it's you feel like you're trying to do it at the right time. Whether it was We did a flea flicker a few weeks ago. Just plays like that. You're really trying to see how the defense is playing. How they've played in the past. Are they still playing that way? Just all the different things that go into it. And I know that the special teams one, they're looking for certain things as well. The play that we threw the ball back to. The ball back to Russ for a touchdown. We're looking for certain things as well, and if we get it, then we run it. If we don't, we don't run it.
Take the time to check with Doug first.
I do not.
What is going back to
Good
work?
question, though.
What is going back to work at Wisconsin still mean to you?
Say that again?
What is going back to Wisconsin for work still mean to you?
Oh, I love the state of Wisconsin. It was good to me. I was there. I was there for my years in college, and I was there 6 years in Green Bay. So I have a lot of fond memories, got a lot of friends that are still there. It's a special place in my heart. And, I bleed Badger Red. The Green Bay stuff's kind of gone, but, the Badger Red's still there.
Do you leave tickets for Wisconsin people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In the Seahawks section?
But they know the parameters. They know what they have to wear.
Does the weather change? Do you have to change game plans like, December? Is it different than September because how the weather might be kind of thing?
Yeah. You have to take it into consideration. There's certain things, and obviously when we went to Minnesota last year with how it was, there's things that you're taking into consideration, yes, and then you kind of have to see what happens when you get there, because we were supposed to get this mass blizzard here, and the tsunami or whatever that was coming, it never showed up, right? So you have to be able to still adjust. We know what the forecast is coming. But then if it's 55 and sunny, then we'll go ahead and play it normal. And if it's 33 and snow, then then we'll be able to make some changes. Got to determine how the field is. It could still be a fine field and guys are running around no problem in the snow, or it could get real slippery, and you have to make adjustments. So we'll kind of go on the fly with that.
Just from a mental standpoint, can that game last year in Minnesota help you guys? Look, we've been through worse than this.
Well, they know it's not going to be colder than that. Yeah, for sure. And anytime it's snowing, from when I've been in the snow, it's usually warmer, than normal. So, or than you would think. So it's definitely not going to be that cold. So I don't think they're really worried about it.
Is Clay Matthews? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Is Clay Matthews almost more of a wild card because you're not quite sure if he has two arms and not quite sure where spot he's going to line up right now?
Yeah. We have to find out how they're going to use him. They've been using him as that stack backer. They've also been using him in his normal defensive end spot. They move him around quite a bit. He'll be lined up in the interior as well. I know that he's not 100%, and that's a factor for them as well, and for us. So we'll monitor it and watch it and see how it plays out.
In that Minneapolis game, what do you think the biggest impact was? I remember some players talking about the flight of the ball, how it kind of impacted that, but what was the biggest impact?
Well, the easiest answer is the cold. Was the biggest impact, but it impacts a lot of things. It does impact the ball itself. The ball's harder, the ball's slippery, and so that showed up a little bit. So it's harder to grip, it's harder to catch, it's harder to throw. It's easy when you're handing it off most of the time, but it's pretty slippery, when you're handing it against the jerseys and those kind of things. I think hits hurt more, in all honesty. So those are all little things.
Russell said after that game he couldn't talk because he froze up. How did you compensate for that?
Well, my experience is it's kind of since I was with Brett all those years in Green Bay. He always would have those hand warmers in his pocket, and he'd pull them out, and you'd always see him putting them over his face. And because I had the same experience at Wisconsin when I was playing, I came from Arizona, so I wasn't, didn't know much about it. And so when you start to talk, your mouth starts to freeze up, and you can't enunciate as well. So doing that was something that he always did to help keep his face warm enough to be able to enunciate all his words that he needed to in the huddle. Yeah.
Marcel Reese, you just maybe had one day looking at him so far, but what does he look like today?
Yeah, he looked good out here today. Tom has a lot of experience with him, obviously, in his past with the Raiders. But, just kind of getting him involved, seeing, how much he can pick up. And he looked good today. He runs around well. He moves well. He caught the ball well. So those are some things that we saw today.
After those 4 straight losses, what has Green Bay done in the last 2 weeks to kind of turn things around?
Well, I only see half of it, so I'm only watching really their defense. But I think their defense has played better. They're they're playing well. I mean, they have a good mix of what they're trying to do on defense, and I think that's something that Dom's really always done.
Anything else? Thanks,
All right, thanks.
Thank you.